Welcome back to the 100 spin test. Today's episode, number 111, continues our new approach as we dive back into the murky waters of roulette strategies, where promises of guaranteed wins crash faster than a Boeing airframe with faulty software. Ever wonder if these so-called foolproof strategies can survive real-world distractions and cognitive biases? You're in the right place. Let's find out. Today's test is one of the simplest bets of all, D'Alembert. It's straightforward. Pick a 1-to-1 bet, increase your bet by 1 unit after a loss, or decrease it by 1 unit after a win. Because wins in this progression are larger than losses, you technically need fewer wins than losses to break even. On paper, that sounds comforting. In practice, well, the bets start off low volatility and low value, at least at first. But a losing streak causes your bet to snowball, and a winning streak leads to diminishing returns. That's what makes D'Alembert so great for demonstrations. If you keep it short enough, it's easy to make it look like a winner. We're running this test on a European table. There are 18 winning numbers out of a possible 37, that's a 49% chance to win. The lone green zero? It's just sitting there, gorging on your bankroll like a well-fed leech, carving out the house's 2.7% edge on every spin. For simplicity and scaling, the unit size is set to 1 simoleon. I've placed my bet on even, but feel free to pick whatever 1-to-1 bet you like. Or switch it up every spin. I won't judge. It's your money to throw away. D'Alembert doesn't care. You win. Decrease the bet. You lose. Increase the bet. You think you're in control, but really, you're just adjusting the speed of the crash. As always, the animated graph below shows the progress of the strategy as misplayed and gives an idea of how volatile the bet is. There is also a table below showing the payouts and losses for this bet. A link to Jack Ace's bet analyzer that contains much more information for this bet can be found in the description.
Now let's speed things up and watch the progress. I'll be back at the end to summarize.
Yay, we won, but only 3 units after 100 spins. If that wasn't a lousy enough return on units risked, then consider that in our worst negative progression, we had to make a bet 14 times the base bet size to have a minuscule recovery. As I predicted, the strategy was fine until we hit the massive losing streak around spin 30. If you look at the progress chart, we max out at positive 24 units, but bottom out at negative 74. This strategy oscillated, but could have gone really bad at any time. I analyzed the data using some basic stats. On average, it took 2.1 spins to get a win, and most wins happened pretty quickly. About 68% of wins happened within 3 or fewer spins, and over 95% happened within 5 spins. The standard deviation was 1.5, which just means there was a bit of variation, but not wildly so. Here's the catch: even if most outcomes stay within that range, just one outlier. That 6th, 7th, or 10th miss can wipe out your session if you're using a progression system, and we did get a 7-loss streak. The test was profitable for 41% of the spins. When looking at the numbers themselves, we had 1 repeater. 12 repeated once. The hot numbers, those that hit the most, were 19, which hit 9 times, and 2, and 12, each hit 6 times. On the other hand, the cold numbers, the ones that never hit, were 4, 8, and 14. There was 1 streak of 5 wins in a row, 1 of 4, 2 of 3, and 11 streaks of 2 consecutive wins. There was 1 streak of 7 losses in a row, 1 of 5, 4 of 3, and 6 streaks of 2 consecutive losses. If we flat bet this, we would have been down for units, and if we martingaled, we would have hit the table limit on spin 42. Let's look at our rankings. We find basic D'Alembert on even at 52nd out of 134 on raw winnings or losses, and 39th on percent increased or decreased. More detailed information about the data, including hit counts, statistics, and streak information, can be found in the spin data for this test. A link is in the description. Keep in mind that casinos are profit-driven businesses. They're not designed to make you rich, but to take as much from your wallet as you're willing to give. So, never accept gambling advice at face value. Test any strategy you plan to use with whatever tools you have available. Look closely at whether the data used in demonstrations has been selectively chosen to create a winning narrative. Dig deeper, read and understand as many critiques of the strategy as you can find. Be cautious of creators who discourage questions or criticism. That's a glaring red flag. Remember, you're not a hater for questioning their methodology or being skeptical. If critical comments are missing from their content, consider whether dissenting voices may have been silenced by deleting comments that expose flaws or deception. Finally, many strategies might appear to work temporarily. However, any strategy that doesn't hold up over time isn't reliable, it's just luck in disguise. Adjust your risk and loss tolerance accordingly. As always, approach gambling advice with caution and skepticism.
Good luck until the next time.